Hey, what's up everyone? Today we have some exciting news to cover. The CEO answered a few questions including whether there will be an expansion. He also discussed how Helldivers took 8 years to create, provides a rough estimate of when we can expect a roadmap, and explains why cutscenes are so expensive and much more. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like by tapping the thumbs up button below the video. The chief executive of Arrowhead was asked quite a few questions over on the Helldivers 2 official Discord, and one of the questions was about an expansion. This member Kane asked, "Are you looking at any expansions of the Helldivers Super of the Universe into other genres? Should the success of Helldivers 2 continue?" The chief executive of Arrowhead wrote back and said, "It took 8 years to make this one. Let's settle a bit first, shall we?" I wasn't aware that this game took 8 years to create. That's insane. The next question is about a roadmap, and we are given basically a time frame or an estimated time as to when we can expect it. This member asked, "Will we get a roadmap of the game future development and upcoming update?" Shams Georgiani wrote back, "We should at some point after the summer, maybe." Sure, there's no exact date as to when we can expect the next roadmap, but we do have an idea on when we can see it, which should be sometime after summer. Personally, I think it's a great idea to create a roadmap because it kind of gives us an idea on what to expect within the year or the next year. The third question is about if the CEO would like to add anything to the game. This is what this member asked. "If you could add anything to the game right now, no judgments, limits, or oppositions, what would you add?" The chief executive Shams Georgiani wrote back and said, "More progression," which I think a lot of us can agree. We would love to see that. The fact that he did say more progression, maybe that's something we'll see in the future, where we'll see more progression, whether that be war bonds, maybe that's something else to continue working towards. We'll find out, but I think that right there is a good answer. The fourth question coming up is about microtransactions and whether or not Sony is pretty much pressuring the devs to do more of that. This user asked, "Is there no pressure from Sony to add more microtransactions?" Shams Georgiani responded with, "Not that I'm aware of." There's no clear answer if there's going to be more microtransactions in the future or if Sony is actually pressuring the devs to do that. And if that were to happen, I wonder what the feedback would be like. I mean, I would imagine it would be quite hectic. The next member did not ask a question, but more so pretty much brought up the fact that they should add more cutscenes, and Shams Georgiani responded to this. But this member right here said, "I think one thing that will definitely improve the experience is hire more cutscene developers for big major order outcomes. Plus, it lets us make more memes to spread the game." The CEO replied with, "Neat, but super expensive, and that those resources could be used to make gameplay instead, in my opinion." What do you all think? Would you like to see more cutscenes or more gameplay? I know that sounds a bit like a rhetorical question because I feel like your guys' answers would most likely be like gameplay, right? You want more gameplay instead of some sort of cutscene, which that makes absolute sense, right? Myself personally, I cannot wait to see vehicles, so hopefully they add vehicles very soon. Continuing forward, we have a question about Hangar Base. Some would like to actually chill there with Eagle 1. With that being said, this user asked, "Any news on us being able to vibe in the Hangar Bay at some point?" Shams Georgiani responded with, "Neat idea, but likely not a high priority thing, ? So maybe at some point we will be able to visit the Hangar Bay. I would like to see this as well as more ways to explore the ship because this way they could add some secrets or add some lore to it, and I would absolutely love it if they did something like that. The next member asked about the spear fix, and this is what he said specifically. "Are you willing to speak about the legendary spear fix?" And this is what Shams Georgiani said in response. "Haven't tried the spear myself, I hear it's amazing." What I wonder here is, did they not only fix the tracking, but did they also increase the damage? That right there, I have to know. I know some of you in the previous comments have said, "Hey, you know, I would love to see the spear one-tap certain enemies." And who knows, this right here might be a possibility in the next upcoming patch on Thursday. Now, from what Shams Georgiani has said here, he says he hears it's amazing, so maybe it's actually amazing. I'm gonna take his word for it, and let's go ahead and continue on. So we might be receiving more difficult modifiers or more situations to increase the difficulty. And this member right here asked Shams Georgiani this right here. "Would be nice with more content, challenging content, and a much higher difficulty than Helldive 9. This member continued on by saying increase the limit of samples, medals, and requisitions. Are we also going to get the promised cape after the Sony battle? Shams Georgiani responded that this is what him and Pilstead and all the other folks over at Arrowhead are talking about. Here's the exact response. All of that is exactly what Pilstead, myself, and all the other folks at Arrowhead are talking about. Now, it sounds like this response was more so an answer to the first question and not the second one. We still have no idea on when we're going to be able to receive that special cape, but I have an idea that this next update might just be it. Moving on, what we have here is a question about special capes, and this member asked, are there going to be special capes for people who played the first game? Shams Georgiani replied with, there really should be. Well, there might be a possibility that you OG players might receive a special cape, which I think that would be incredible. The developers and CEO are also interested in collaboration with Warhammer 40k. I'm sure a lot of you are big fans of the game as well. And this is the question right here. Any chances of collaboration with Warhammer 40k? Shams Georgiani replied with, we'd love to, huge fans. This right here would be a cool collaboration. I honestly would like to see this one, and maybe something else as well somewhere down the line. But I would like to know what you think about this. Would you like to see a Warhammer 40k collaboration? Or if not, what would you like to see? Let me know your thoughts down below. The next member here asks, monetization superstore new items are way too far spaced out. Having more items would give players that are maxed out in between war bonds something to work towards in game / player retention thoughts. Georgiani responded with, agree on the sentiment that there should be more stuff to do between stuff. This right here is a great question, and I wonder what they could do. What could they implement into the game to give us more things to do? Whether this be more ways to earn more rewards, or if this is a completely different game mode. I think that would be interesting if they added something completely different just to give us something to do. And the final question here is basically about, Sony Link issues. Are they going to resolve it? Is there any word on it? And sadly, the answer is always the same. And the CEO basically said, hey, they're still discussing it. And that's pretty much it. And that right there was the final question. But now we're going to continue on and take a look at what the community manager had to say in response to a higher difficulty mode. This Discord member asked, hey, there any talk about adding more difficulty levels? Twinbeard, the community manager, responded with, there could be, but I don't know any details. In any case, I think we have some more important stuff to nail and do first. Let's see how the patch pans out for starters. Well, it's safe to say that the next update is not going to contain any additional difficulty levels, but eventually this is something that we should see at some point. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Joel, the Game Master, because if you guys have not seen the previous video, some were wondering, has the developer been fired? And I answered that one by basically saying that no, they have not fired him, but instead have hired one more additional person. Twinbeard responded to a user about this question specifically by saying, he's very much alive and scheming at AH just as usual. Our GM ad is us looking for someone else just as evil good at planning as Joel is, so we can wreak even more intergalactic havoc. With those questions and answers to the side, we're now going to check out some important leaks. If you do not want to hear anything related to the next stratagems, missions, or anything like that, then please leave now. What we're going to do here is showcase some audio for the Super Earth Helbot, and I'm telling you guys, this information is incredible. I would like to know your thoughts and opinions afterwards, but for now, this information and this leak comes straight from Iron Sights, a great leaker over at Helldivers Leaks, both the Discord and the Reddit, so check out both of them and go ahead and give them a follow. So, with that being said, here's the audio.
Tip number 419. Illuminate outposts are often heavily shielded and are best overcome with weapons boasting extreme destructive power. Tip number 394. During night missions, Helldivers are automatically granted access to the flare stratagem at no extra cost. Hooray! Beep boop. Tip number 836. Lying prone provides minimal protection against nearby explosions. Tip number 194. The longer a mission takes, the more aware of your presence the enemy will become. Non-murderous butler. The election is approaching. Please be prepared to participate. Sales are the lifeblood of democracy. And also final. Tip number 119. Locate and successfully extract with Intel, and you will reveal an Intel mission. Hooray! Purchase complete. Please note, some samples are rarer than others. Pay careful attention to what your fellow Helldivers are doing. Tip number 223. Research points are used to progress your Helldiver specialization and to access certain rare stratagems. Hooray! Please make your way to the Democracy Officer for the latest war briefing. Tip number 626. Eagle aircraft must be rearmed during missions via the corresponding stratagem. This will restock their usage and their spirits. Self-diagnostic complete. Conclusion, not an automaton. Tip number 411. When fighting, illuminate. Keep moving. Tip number 329. Each tier in your Helldiver specialization unlocks new items.
And that right there is your Helldivers 2 news. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below and you might just get your chance to speak your voice on the channel. So the first comment is by a username AutoBismarck7094. This user says, I'm betting if the children get rescued, the sea facilities get rebuilt. The second comment is by PLFTACH9251. This user says, honestly, I think we need to keep the meme alive and fail to get the mines again. It's a tradition at this point. And last but not least, we have the 13 King who says, it's the third attempt for us to get the mines. So I say we save the kids. And there's your top 3 comments from the previous video. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.